Welcome to Twisted Truths, where betrayal meets brutal payback, and where the most unexpected twists expose what people are really capable of. This story isn't just shocking, it's personal. My name is Sam. I'm 46 years old. And on the morning of our 14th wedding anniversary, I stood in our driveway holding a pair of keys and a silk envelope, watching the woman I loved walk away, with another man. His name was Devin. Personal trainer. All abs, teeth, and tan, like someone cast him out of a men's health magazine. He didn't flinch. Didn't look guilty. Just stood there in designer sunglasses like the world owed him something. And maybe, in that moment, he thought it did. Vanessa, my wife, adjusted the strap of her designer bag and didn't even meet my eyes when she said, "He appreciates me more than you ever did. You're too boring for a trip like this. 7 days. 5 countries. Every moment hand-picked for her. A dinner cruise on the Seine. Sunrise at the Louvre. That tiny vineyard in Tuscany she'd shown me in a travel magazine years ago. I remembered every little dream she ever mumbled in passing, and I built an anniversary trip around it. And she took it. Not with me. But with him. She didn't carry any luggage. That should have tipped me off. I thought maybe she forgot something inside, or wanted me to help with the bags. But no. She wasn't going on this trip with me at all. "I'm still going," she said, reaching for the envelope I held. "But not with you." I handed it over anyway. Everything was in that envelope: boarding passes, itineraries, confirmations. 3 months of planning. $10,000. All paid through my business account. Every dinner, hotel, and private tour. But more importantly, all under my name. I stood there, silent, as they climbed into the Uber I'd booked for us. She didn't look back. But I did. I looked back in the rearview mirror as I pulled away, and I saw them, his arm around her waist, laughing. 14 years of marriage. I never forgot a birthday. Never missed an anniversary. Never failed to compliment a new hairstyle or listen when she talked about art or music or the new exhibit opening downtown. I was always there. But when she started training 3 times a week with Devin 6 months ago, she started coming home late. New clothes. Longer sessions. Talking about how he gets it. About travel. About Paris. About how people our age don't live enough. I paid for those sessions. I paid for the man who replaced me. At first, I told myself I was imagining things. That she was just happier, healthier. That maybe this would bring us closer again. But her smile changed. The kind of change that hurts in the pit of your stomach because you know it isn't meant for you anymore. Still, I planned the trip. Like a fool, I thought it might fix things. Instead, it showed me exactly where I stood. But what Vanessa didn't know, what she never even thought to ask, was that I hadn't just planned the trip. I had engineered it. Every reservation tied to my ID. Every tour confirmed with my cell. Every booking secured with 2-factor authentication, linked to my business email. Vanessa thought she was stealing my trip. She had no idea the whole thing was a trap. But I didn't know that yet. Not fully. Not until I sat in my car afterward and realized something far colder than heartbreak. I wasn't angry. I wasn't broken. I was done. And in that silence, I started to think. And thinking turned into planning. And that, right there, is where the real story begins. After they left, I didn't go back inside. I sat in the car. In silence. No music. No engine. Just the tick of the dashboard clock and the sound of my own breath, shallow and tight. 14 years. Gone in a sentence. It wasn't the infidelity that gutted me. It wasn't even the humiliation of watching her leave with him. It was the coldness. The way she said it, like she was informing me of a shipping delay. I'm still going. Just not with you. No emotion. No hesitation. Like I was a phase she'd outgrown. Like the man who held her when her mother died, who built her a home, who sacrificed everything to give her freedom, was just boring now. She didn't even say sorry. That hurt more than anything. I didn't cry. I thought I might. But instead, something worse settled in, numbness. I drove. Nowhere in particular. Just away. Windows down, air thick with June heat, my mind racing through every missed sign. Every look. Every training session she stayed late for. Every moment I tried to reconnect while she was already drifting. I parked at the overlook where I proposed to her 14 years ago. Back then, she wore red lipstick and shaky hands and said, yes, before I finished the question. Now, I couldn't even picture her face without seeing him next to it. The betrayal was physical. My skin felt tight. My chest heavy. My stomach twisted. The kind of pain you can't name because it lives somewhere too deep. I thought about what my therapist said years ago, when we'd gone to counseling after her second job change caused tension between us. Love is a two-way investment, she told us. If one person stops depositing, the account runs dry. Back then, I laughed. Now, I realized I'd been the only one making deposits for years. I poured everything into her. Support. Time. Money. Encouragement. Birthday surprises. Anniversary trips. Emergency backup plans. I built our world while she decorated the walls. I thought we were a team. Turns out, I was just her contractor. I checked my phone. A text from Vanessa. Don't wait up. Flight might be delayed. That was it. That was what she sent me, like she was running errands instead of flying to Europe with the man she betrayed me with. I stared at the message. And I laughed. For the first time in weeks, I let out this dry, bitter laugh that felt more like an exorcism than humor. Flight might be delayed. Yeah, I thought. It might. That's when the numbness began to shift. Not to rage. Not yet. But to clarity. She took the trip. But I held the reins. Every flight. Every hotel. Every dinner. All of it under my name. My phone buzzed again, an unknown number. Mr. Blackwell, this is Continental Airlines. Just confirming your departure for Flight 447 to Paris. I didn't even let her finish. Actually, I said calmly, I need to make some changes. 20 minutes later, everything was rerouted. My name remained on the bookings, but I was now flying to Rome on a different airline. My plus one. My sister Lauren. Lauren, the one person who warned me. She'd said, Vanessa is changing, Sam. You're not imagining it. She was right. And now, she'd see Europe. Because Vanessa didn't deserve this trip. She never did. But Lauren? Lauren once gave me her last $500 to help with my business startup when no one else believed in me. She deserved the Eiffel Tower. Not Vanessa. Not the woman who kissed me goodbye at night and rolled into another man's arms by morning. I hadn't felt peace in months. But as I stared out at the city lights from that lonely overlook, I felt a flicker of it. Not because I had a plan. But because I had nothing left to lose. I was free. In the most painful way possible. I was free. When I picked up Lauren the next morning, she hugged me like she knew. Didn't ask questions. Just said, it's time. She brought one suitcase. Simple, compact, and clean. Not a fashion show like Vanessa would have packed. Not 7 outfit changes for a 2-day stop in Paris. Just what she needed, and a worn paperback book she always traveled with. On the way to the airport, I told her everything. And she didn't gasp. She didn't say, "Oh my God." She said, "I knew." Not in a smug way. Not an "I told you so" way. But the kind of knowing someone only admits once you're already broken. She started posting less about you. More selfies. More of me time, Lauren said, watching traffic blur outside the window. That's when I started watching. I frowned. Watching what? She turned to me slowly. Her Instagram stories. Her likes. Her gym check-ins. Her locations. Sam, she's been leaving breadcrumbs for months. I didn't know whether to be grateful or shattered. She wanted to be caught, Lauren added. I parked the car and sat for a moment. You think so? Lauren nodded. People who cheat like this, it's never about love. It's about power. She wanted to see if you'd fight for her. Or if you'd crumble. I didn't do either. I rewrote the rules. On the flight to Rome, I finally opened the shared credit card statements, something I'd neglected for months, trusting her to manage some expenses while I focused on work. Mistake. Over $8,000 in charges I didn't recognize. One by one, I saw them: luxury fitness gear, expensive dinners at places I'd never eaten, spa appointments during hours she claimed to be out with clients, and, worst of all, hotel bookings. Downtown San Diego. 2 hours from our home. 3 nights a week for 2 months. Always under her name. Always with the same room service preferences: sparkling water, a side of sliced fruit, and 2 glasses. She wasn't even trying to hide it. I scrolled faster, pulse rising. Then I saw the one charge that made me sit upright. A payment to Envisage Jewelers, $2,300. I knew that place. Vanessa had taken me there once when she was just browsing. Now I was staring at a receipt from 6 weeks ago. Custom engraving, it read. Lauren leaned over and caught a glimpse of the screen. You okay? She asked. I tilted the phone so she could see. Custom. Engraved. Her lips parted slightly. Was she planning to propose? No, I said quietly. She bought him a watch. Gold. Limited edition. I knew it because I called the store mid-flight, pretending to be the one who ordered it. And the engraving? To Devon, time stops with you. Red Heart V. I didn't even feel my heart break. Not this time. I just whispered, she used our joint account for it. Lauren touched my arm gently. You have everything you need now. She was right. I had evidence of the affair. Fraudulent use of marital funds. Misuse of business accounts. Emotional betrayal. The works. But more than that. I had confirmation of something deeper. She hadn't just replaced me. She was planning a future without me. All funded by me. And she thought I'd just crumble. She had no idea. When we landed in Florence, I activated what I now called Phase Zero. This wasn't revenge. Not yet. This was reclamation. I called my attorney. Robert Templeton. One of the best in San Diego. I need to start drafting a divorce, I said. Adultery? Confirmed. Documented. Misuse of marital funds too. Sam, he said carefully. If you want maximum protection, we need to freeze shared assets, lock business accounts, and gather proof fast. If she finds out too early. She won't, I said. She's still in Paris. Living her fantasy. He paused. You've already begun, haven't you? I looked at Lauren across the table, sipping espresso on the balcony. Yes, I said. And I haven't even started yet. It's funny how quickly grief can transform into purpose. By the time we reached Florence, I wasn't just recovering. I was recalibrating. I had spent years giving Vanessa everything: support, time, money, love. And she had turned around and spent our anniversary trip with a man I was unknowingly paying to replace me. But now I held every piece I needed to dismantle the lie she'd built. First step, secure the business. Zentren Marketing was my life's work. A boutique consultancy I'd built from scratch in our spare bedroom. It was now a six-figure operation with 4 employees, a growing client list, and full proprietary rights under my name. But Vanessa had access to one of the company credit cards, a convenience I'd given her years ago when we bought office furniture together. Not anymore. From the rooftop business lounge of our Florence hotel, I logged into the company dashboard. Within minutes, I froze her card, revoked her user rights, and removed all secondary authorizations. She would wake up unable to buy a coffee. Second step, alert the bank. I placed a call to our personal banker at Huntington and Lane. His name was Julian. Older guy. Discreet. Julian, this is Sam Blackwell. I need to flag some activity and lock down all joint accounts. Today. Understood. Travel theft. Adultery. And fraud. Silence. Then, consider it done. Within 30 minutes, I received confirmation that our joint checking and savings were frozen pending divorce proceedings. Vanessa wouldn't be able to touch a dime without consent, and I sure as hell wasn't giving it. I could already picture her standing in a Paris boutique, trying to buy some silk dress to impress Devon, only to see the card get declined. Third step, prep the attorney. I sent Robert everything, screenshots of the hotel bills, the jeweler's receipt, the workout session invoices labeled cash only that I'd suspected were hiding something else. He responded almost immediately. Sam, this is gold. Under California law, she's just forfeited a good chunk of the marital asset claim. Fourth step, secure the house. From my laptop, I booked a locksmith to rekey every lock on the Mission Hills property. Front doors. Garage. Back patio. Smart locks reset. Her key fobs deactivated. She'd left me for Paris. She could stay out. I wasn't done. I also called our home automation system provider and had the security codes reset, her Face ID removed, and a notification alert set up, so if she tried to enter, I'd know. Let her try. I wanted her to. That night, Lauren and I had dinner under a string of cafe lights at a small trattoria. She kept glancing at me like I was a stranger. You've changed, she finally said, sipping her wine. No, I replied. I've just stopped pretending. She nodded, quiet for a while. Then, what about the divorce announcement? When? I exhaled slowly. When she's the most dependent on me. Lauren raised an eyebrow. You're going to let her dangle? I nodded. She planned an entire affair behind my back. She used me to fund it. She laughed when she thought I wouldn't notice. She called me boring. So no, I'm not going to rush the reveal. She deserves to feel the ground shift under her. Because this wasn't about screaming or dramatic scenes. It was about precision. I wasn't going to burn everything down. I was going to cut the cords one by one and let her watch it all fall. The next morning, the first of the messages came. Vanessa. Hey, we're having an issue at the Paris hotel. They're saying there's a problem with the reservation. Can you call? I didn't answer. 5 minutes later. Sam. They're not letting us check in. What's going on? The concierge says only the primary guest can confirm identity. And then. Is your phone off or are you ignoring me? This is serious. I turned my phone over on the marble table and smiled. Another espresso? Lauren asked. Yes, please. By the time we arrived in Venice, Vanessa was unraveling. It started with polite texts. Then frantic ones. Then calls. Voicemails. Sam, Please, call me back. We're stranded. They cancelled the room. Alex trying to fix it but nothing's working. I need your help. Please. I didn't respond. Every hotel I booked was locked behind my ID, my business credentials, my two-factor codes. She thought she could hijack the trip without consequence. Now she couldn't even find a clean bathroom in Paris. Next came the restaurants. I'd reserved them all under my name using my company's private dining account, reservations that required photo ID and pre-authentication. When Vanessa and Devin showed up to La Pearl, one of the most exclusive spots in the Marais district, they were turned away in front of a full terrace. She texted again. This is petty, Sam. I don't know what you're doing, but it's cruel. Funny. She didn't seem too worried about cruelty when she walked out of our driveway with him. Then came the kicker. Also, the credit card you gave me keeps declining. Did something happen? Yes. Something happened. You happened. And I was done paying for it. I leaned back in a gondola as the canal winds kissed my skin, Lauren laughing beside me, and thought about how satisfying silence can be when someone who used to control your emotions starts screaming into a void. But this wasn't just about denying her a vacation. This was the start of a complete reset. That night, while sipping red wine at a candlelit restaurant off the Piazza San Marco, I sent Robert the final batch of evidence, screenshots, itemized statements, annotated breakdowns of fraudulent charges. He wrote back. This makes our case bulletproof. I'll file as soon as you return. Expect a strong settlement in your favor. One more text arrived from Vanessa that night. Sam. I'm sorry, okay? Maybe I overreacted. Maybe I said things I didn't mean. But I don't deserve this. Can we talk? I didn't reply. Lauren noticed the look on my face. Still blowing up your phone? Yep. She's starting to panic. She should. Because Vanessa thought she was in control. She thought I was weak, emotionally dependent. Predictable. She thought I'd crumble, beg, plead. Instead, I built a guillotine out of paperwork and silence. When I returned to San Diego a week later, the first thing I did was meet Robert in person. He had the divorce papers ready. Her infidelity. Misuse of marital funds. Adultery-based asset claims. Fraudulent credit activity. She was about to lose everything she thought she had. We filed. And I didn't tell her. I waited. Waited for the moment I knew she'd need me most. It came 3 days later. The locks had already been changed. The security system updated. The mailbox rerouted. I got the notification around noon. Attempted unauthorized entry. Facial ID failed. Lockout triggered. Vanessa was at the door. Outside her own house. She called. 10 times. Then. What the hell, Sam? I can't get into the house. My key isn't working, and the code won't go through. Did you change it? Yes. And it felt amazing. I let her stew for another 2 hours. Then finally, I answered her call. Hey, Vanessa. You changed the locks. Yes. You can't do that. I can. I own the house. My name's on the deed. You'll find your things packed and delivered to your sisters tomorrow. She went quiet. Then icy. You're being cruel. No. I'm being clear. You don't get to punish me for falling out of love. You didn't fall out of love. You cheated. Lied. Stole. Mocked me. Then tried to parade your affair through Europe on my dime. She snapped. You planned this. You wanted me to suffer. No, Vanessa. I just finally stopped suffering for you. I hung up. Then I called the moving company and confirmed her things would be delivered to her sister's address, the one she gave me months ago when she said she was staying there for space. Poetic, really. 3 weeks after Vanessa's European fantasy collapsed, I got a phone call that caught me off guard. It wasn't from her. It was from Rachel Morrison. A name I didn't recognize, until she introduced herself. "Hi, is this Sam Blackwell?" "Yes." "Who's this?" "I'm Devin Morrison's wife." I froze. "Sorry," I said, blinking hard. "Did you say, Devin's wife?" "Yes," she replied, her voice tight, composed, but shaking underneath. "I think we should talk." We met at a quiet cafe in La Jolla 2 days later. Rachel was younger than I expected, maybe early 30s, with soft eyes that looked like they'd seen too much too soon. She didn't waste time. "I know about Vanessa." I didn't answer. Just waited. He used to be honest with me. Back when we were struggling. Then he got that job at Apex Fit, started training private clients. One of them was Vanessa. He said she was lonely. That she vented to him. That he was just helping. She looked down at her tea, then added, that help turned into lingerie receipts. My stomach twisted. She reached into her bag and pulled out her phone. Photos. Dozens of them. Vanessa and Devin at restaurants, in his car, in a hotel lobby downtown. Kissing on the street. I hadn't seen these angles before. "Where'd you get these?" I asked. "I hired someone," she said. I wanted to know how deep it went. What shocked me wasn't that he was cheating. She paused. It was that he used me to cover it. She handed me a hotel receipt. My name was listed as the cardholder. A $512 charge for a night at the Sapphire Towers Hotel in downtown San Diego. A spa package. A private suite. "Wait, this was on my account?" I asked. She nodded. "He told the front desk you were his boss and he was traveling under your business account for fitness consultation." That's when it hit me. Devin didn't just sleep with my wife. He used my name to do it. My company. My business cards. My reputation. He'd impersonated me, committed fraud, and made me an accessory, on paper, to his affair. Rachel took a breath and looked at me. "I know you probably don't care, but I've already filed for divorce." I nodded. "I'm sorry." She hesitated, then leaned in. "You should know something else." I waited. "He's not broke." "What?" "He told Vanessa he didn't have money." "But he does." "Or he did. Until recently. He cashed out some retirement stocks, and, this part might interest you, transferred almost $18,000 into a shared account with your wife." I blinked. "Vanessa opened an account with him?" "Joint," she said. "About 6 weeks ago. Set up under both their names, likely planning to use it for a new life." That was it. I sat back, blood rushing to my ears. This wasn't just betrayal. This was conspiracy. And now. I had everything. Fraud. Asset siphoning. Identity misuse. And proof that she wasn't just cheating, she was trying to set up a financial exit, using me as the bankroll. "I have copies," Rachel said softly. "If you want to use them." I looked at her, stunned. "You'd help me?" She gave a sad smile. "I'm not helping you. I'm helping myself. If I'm going down with this mess, I want to see someone walk away with justice." I left that meeting with a new file folder full of damning documents and a quiet, burning fury. Back at home, I handed everything to Robert, my attorney. His eyes widened as he skimmed the folder. "She opened a joint account with the man she cheated with, while still legally married to you, and used your business's name on hotel charges?" "Yes." This is no longer just divorce. He looked at me, serious now. This is criminal. Identity misuse. Financial deception. Possible tax fraud. And depending on how they used that joint account, wire fraud. And in that moment, the game changed. I wasn't just divorcing Vanessa anymore. I was about to ruin her. I didn't serve Vanessa the divorce papers at home. I served them at her new job. She'd landed a sales position at an upscale gallery downtown, ironic, given how far she'd fallen from her old art curator dreams. It was her first week. New start. New wardrobe. New facade. But the truth? It followed her. I hired a process server to walk in at 11:23 a.m., right between the morning staff huddle and a client appointment. She was standing at the front desk, smiling at a customer, when she was handed a cream envelope stamped filed in Superior Court. She signed for it. Then read it. According to the employee I'd tipped for info, she turned ghost white, whispered something like, "He wouldn't," and dropped the folder on the floor. Inside were full divorce filings citing adultery and fraudulent use of marital funds. Documentation of the joint account she opened with Devin. Signed statements from Rachel Morrison. A breakdown of hotel receipts using my business identity. A request for financial damages and asset recovery. A restraining order from accessing any company or shared accounts. I didn't even have to say a word. The evidence spoke for me. Over the next 3 months, things moved quickly. Vanessa tried to fight it. Claimed I hacked her accounts, that I was retaliating emotionally. But in court, facts are louder than feelings. Robert presented everything. Copies of the shared account with Devin. Statements showing the use of my business name for hotel fraud. Screenshots of text messages where she admitted traveling with another man. Bank logs showing diverted funds from our joint savings. But the real kicker? Rachel testified. She confirmed that Vanessa and Devin were not only romantically involved, but that Devin was coaching Vanessa on how to hide assets. It backfired spectacularly. The judge ruled. Vanessa forfeited her share of our home. She was liable for the $18,000 misused through the joint account. She was ordered to pay $10,000 in damages to Zentren Marketing for unauthorized use of the company's financial identity. And, she was barred from accessing any of my business or personal accounts ever again. She left the courtroom in tears. Devin didn't even show up. Because by then, he'd already ghosted her. Rachel told me a week later that he went back to Orange County, to his third child and a new apartment his parents paid for. Apparently, Paris had burned through what little fantasy Devin could afford. And Vanessa? Well, she was left with nothing. No house. No man. No money. Just the fallout of a dream she tried to steal. 6 months later, I was back in Florence. Not hiding. Not running. Just living. Zentren was thriving. My team expanded. I opened a satellite office in Lisbon and started mentoring young entrepreneurs, something I never had time for before. And Lauren? She visited often. We'd sit under the Tuscan sky, sipping Chianti, laughing about how sometimes life cracks you wide open just so you can finally breathe again. One afternoon, as I stood on the balcony of my new flat overlooking the Arno River, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I didn't answer. A minute later, a text popped through. I hope you're proud of yourself. I lost everything. I stared at it for a moment. Then I deleted it. And I smiled. Not out of cruelty. But because I finally understood the truth. Sometimes, the most brutal revenge isn't destruction. It's moving on with your life while they're still stuck in the one they built on lies. In the end, truth has a way of surfacing, even if it comes twisted through pain and betrayal. As one wise voice once said, sometimes your greatest enemy was once your closest ally. If this story struck a chord with you, let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, share, and spread the word, because justice deserves to be heard.